Okay, in this video, I'm going to go over the defense of a straightforward strike. So that would be either a punch or a palm strike, and drills you can do on your own. So this is without a partner, things that you can do by yourself to practice the different defenses. All right, so defending a straightforward strike, you're going to use a parry. So when we use our parry, we're using our open triangle forward. So for that, what that's going to be is your feet start together, and you would be stepping out of the way or out of the center line. So if this is where my head is, I want to move my head out of the way so that way my head would not be where the person would be striking. So if they're striking straight at my head, I want to move out of the way. Okay? So when we do this, you want to make sure your hands are up. You don't have to start with your feet together, but you want to start in some sort of a stance. That way you have a good base. You're taking your leg and you're moving in that direction. So if I'm stepping with this foot, I want to move in that direction. I don't want to step across my body. So I'm taking my foot and I'm stepping out of the way. I'm moving my head out of the center. Okay, then I can do the other side. I'm going to take my other foot and step out of the way. So again, I would just be stepping out of the way. Step out of the way. And you can practice this going back and forth. This is the footwork that you will use. Now to add your parry. So when you parry, you're turning your hand and you're going to put your thumb right by the side and you're just pushing the hand out of the way. So in real life, you're obviously not going to be able to just grab a punch out of midair. So when someone throws a strike at you, you're not just going to grab the hand as they punch you. That's not real. So to practice this, what you're going to do is you're going to use that same footwork, whatever foot you step with. So if I step with this leg, I step over to the side. I'm going to use this hand to parry. When I do my parry, all I'm doing is I'm pushing my hand next to my head. So my hands start up, my hand is open, and I push my hand past my head and then bring it right back. So out and back, and that's a parry. And then I can do it to the other side. So I'm going to step with this foot, use this same side hand, push my hand past my head, and bring it back. So step and parry. Again, step and parry. When you parry, you want to make sure that your hand goes right past your head and then comes back. Okay? You don't want to push your arm all the way out as far as you can. You want to go just past your head and keep this elbow up in front of your face to protect your face. So when you're stepping and you do your parry. Switch. Step and parry. Step and parry. Now to add the salute. So when you do your salute, that is a way to block. That is a way to create a frame. So you're going to step. You're going to do your parry. Your opposite hand comes under your own arm and up to the side of your head. So both of my elbows are up. This hand right here is protecting the side of my head. So again, I step, parry, salute. Both elbows are up. This would push the hand out of the way. This hand would come up on the outside of their arm to defend. So again, step, parry, and salute. Step, parry, salute. So how this would work in real life is somebody would be throwing a strike straight at you. You would use your hand to push their hand out of the way. This arm would come under your own arm and up to your ear. So now for the shoulder bump. So this would be a disengagement. So what this would do is you would take your shoulder, you would knock them in the side or in the rib to create space. So you're shoving them or pushing them with your shoulder to create space. That way you can get away from the person as fast as possible. So this isn't a takedown. This is what is called a disengagement. So that means you're disengaging from the situation as fast as possible. So again, you're going to step, you're going to do your parry, your salute. From here, you're taking your back leg. Your opponent would be right in front of you. So they would be right here. I would take this leg, I would step towards my opponent and use my shoulder. I would lower my body and step into them and shove. So I keep both of my arms up to protect my head. I would step into them and I would use my shoulder to hit them. Okay, then if I need more power or if I'm a lot smaller than my opponent, I can use my hands to push away even more. So that just creates more space, and if you are a smaller person, it helps you against bigger opponents. So again, step, parry, salute. Take your back leg, step towards your opponent, and push. To the other side, step, parry, salute. Take my back leg, step forward, and push. So you would initially hit them with your shoulder, and then you would use your hands to push, like 2 palm strikes. So all together, step, parry, salute, shoulder bump, and push. Step, parry, salute, shoulder bump, and push. So that is your parry salute with your shoulder bump. Now for the 2-on-1. So this is a control, and then we will go into a second disengagement called the pull push, which you do from your control. So you're going to do the same setup. You're doing your step, parry, salute. Your back leg now is going to move to the side. So if my opponent is right in front of me and they would be facing me, I'm going to turn and we would be facing the same direction. So if my opponent is here facing me, I'm going to take my back leg, turn my body, and now we would both be facing this direction. So again, step, parry, salute. You take your back leg and sidestep. I'm going to do it from the back. Step, parry, salute, and sidestep. So from right here, my opponent would be right here in front of me, and they would be facing me, so they would be facing the camera. I would be stepping, doing my parry salute, and then turn, and now I am also facing the camera. Now, with your hands, so to get to the 2-on-1, you want to take one of your hands and put it on the bicep, one of your hands and put it on the wrist. So when you do this, it would be one hand right here, under the arm, and then one hand on top on the wrist. So in the air, what that would look like is you would do your step, your parry salute. The hand that does your parry, so this one right here, would come under the arm to grab the bicep, and the hand that is saluting, the hand that's by your head, would come on top to grab the wrist. So from the back, step, parry, salute. I have this hand for my parry. This hand would come under and grab the bicep. This hand would come on top to grab the wrist. Your head is going to go right on their shoulder, and you're going to use your head to hug their arm and create pressure. So by pushing down on their shoulder, it creates more control. So this hand would hold on tight to the bicep, this hand would hold on tight to the wrist on top, and then your head would go down. You would bend your knees just a little bit to create a better base. So from the back, again, step, parry, salute, under to grab the bicep, on top to grab the wrist, bend your knees a little bit, and head down. From the front, step, parry, salute, bicep, wrist, head. So from that 2-on-1, so you have one hand on the bicep, one hand on the wrist. Your head is down and your knees are bent slightly. For this disengagement, again, this is called the pull push. You're taking your outside leg. So if my opponent is right here, their wrist would be over here. I would be pulling away from them. So I'm holding the arm tight to me. I'm not going to create a bunch of space. I'm going to step with my back leg, pull them down. So I'm holding them tight. I would pull them down to the ground, and then I would use my shoulder, and we're going to do that same type of shoulder bump. So you're stepping into them with this inside leg. You would step into them, shoulder bump, and you can push them away or throw them away. So one way that you can practice this is grab any sort of object that is shaped like an arm. So this is a pool noodle from the Dollar Tree. It's just cut in half. So if we pretend this is the arm, and this is the wrist, and this would be where the shoulder is. So if it's like this, it would be this arm. I would grab the bicep, grab on top at the wrist. I would hold the arm tight to me, right at right at the center of my chest. I would pull the person down, keeping their arm close to me, and then I would step back into them and push, and then throw them away, push them away to create space. You don't want to hold on when you push. You want to create space. So thinking of this as the arm, if I'm standing over here and they are striking at me, again, if this is the hand and this is the person's shoulder, when they are striking at me, I would step out of the way, do my parry, come under my own arm to salute. This hand that's on top would go to the wrist. So this hand would go to the wrist. This hand would go to the bicep. I would turn into my 2-on-1. This again is their shoulder up at the top. This would be the wrist. I would pull them down, and then I would step into them and push. So you can practice this with any sort of object shaped like this, a long pillow, doesn't really matter, and then, or some sort of stick, a hockey stick, anything. That way you get a feel for it if you do not have a partner. Obviously, the best way to practice this would be with a trusted partner, so that way you get the feel of how this would be in real life.